So, RFL or rapid fat loss. I'm going to come on and talk to you today about what it is, why I did it, and is it for everyone. So, as you can see on some of my stories and my feed, the last 4 weeks I've undertaken a rapid fat loss phase, which basically is exactly what it says on the tin. I have lost fat in a very rapid phase. Why have I done it? So, I was going through a massing phase with Joe. My appetite became very poor. The ability for me to eat came very impaired, which was inconducive to my goals. I couldn't force the amount of food in that I needed to grow. So instead of continuously, mindlessly trying to force food in, make myself feel pretty shit in a nutshell, we decided to deploy a rapid fat loss phase. Now, the reason I did this, or we did this, was simply just to regain appetite. Trying to force food in when you can't eat is very, very difficult. It's very frustrating. And if your body doesn't want to eat, the likeliness is it's probably not going to digest the majority of the foods that you're putting in as well. So you're going to create a long list of issues like digestive problems or GI stress. So it just becomes inconducive to the goal. So we deployed a 4 week RFL phase. The plan was to shift as much body fat as we possibly could before we went into our maintenance phase. We wanted to regain appetite and we wanted to put the body in a much more prosperous position to then grow when we go back into a maintenance phase. Now, how did we do this? I was on a very high amount of calories to start with, so it was quite easy. We were sitting at around 5,000 calories a day. Cardio was 220 minutes a week, and steps was 8,000 a day. Now, it's not a high amount, it's not a hard amount to hit. That was just my massing phase prescription. Now, all we simply did in the rapid fat loss phase was cut calories from 5,000 down to around 2.5, and that was it. We kept steps the same, we kept cardio the same. That calorie drop was enough to wash away a lot of inflammation, water, body fat that had built up over time. We also introduced lipoics. So growth hormone was already in, yohimbine was added, clem was added, and injectable L-carnitine was taken in the morning in a fasted state. Side note, I'll add it in, but it's not really appropriate to the conversation. Fasted cardio or fasted expenditure doesn't make a difference unless you have lipotics in that aid fasted lipolysis. So different video, different topic, but that's why we added that in then. So this all paired together put me in enough of a deficit to continuously lose weight over the 4 week period. I didn't adjust cardio, we didn't adjust steps, we didn't adjust food once, just a continuation drop across the 4 week period. So I went from, I think the heaviest I was at the peak of the massing phase was around 105 kilos. I think it was 105.2 or 105.3. After the 4 weeks ended, I was a lowest of 95.9. So it works. It works very, very well. Very, very short, quick period of time. And when you come from being in such a high surplus of food and forcing food, it actually comes as quite a welcome break. You know, I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to continue forcing food in. So when the change came, I actually welcomed it with open arms. And to be fair, I could have kept going. It definitely gave me the buzz back to want to jump on stage, but that's not the goal. The goal was just to regain appetite, shift as much body fat as possible, and put ourselves in a much more positive environment to then push back up when we decide to go for another massing block. So that was the reason I did it. That was how I did it. Now, does RFL have a place for everyone? It depends. In the bodybuilding world, yes, it definitely has its place. But again, I think this would depend on what class and the individual itself. Now, if we're a bikini competitor, they're probably not going to be on massive amounts of food. They're probably not going to be force feeding and gagging on 3, 4, 5,000 calories a day. If they are, I would question why they need that much food, but again, it's person dependent. They probably don't need something as harsh as that. Again, lifestyle clients, every day-to-day general fitness, again, they probably don't need something as harsh as this. Their calories are probably going to be in a relatively decent place as it is. They have no need to force food in. They have no need to go to the extremes as what the bodybuilding classes would, because they're not trying to add this crazy amount of mass. They're not trying to basically turn themselves into freaks on stage. Like it's very goal dependent. Now, if a lifestyle client, for example, decided to go for a rapid fat loss phase, let's say the average individual to 2,200 calories a day, could be their maintenance, could be their surplus. If you was to deploy a rapid fat loss phase for an individual like that, you would have to take quite an astronomical amount of calories away from them or add in quite an astronomical amount of expenditure, which is going to create a lot of fatigue, a lot of hunger, a lot of food focus, which kind of defeats the object. We don't want an individual to become so food obsessed that when they reverse out of it, that's all they can focus on. Same, you don't want the individual to go through the rapid fat loss phase continuously focusing on when their next meal is or when they're next going to have an off plan. Like it's just inconducive to the goal. So personally, I don't think it has a place for everyone. I think it has a very, very good place in the bodybuilding world for a very short, sharp shock to the system to get the required result that you need. Now, is it a sustainable way to diet, or is it a sustainable way to go through a prep? Probably not. Like to go through a prep, you want to have a much longer, slow, steadier state of rate of progress. Rapid fat loss is a very short, quick, sharp shock to the system to get the required result, which was put the body in a much more positive position to grow, regain appetite, so that when we do push up, we're not struggling with food. We actually welcome the thought of food and just get the body in a much happier state. Very, very simple. Any questions, guys? Anything you want to know more, please feel free to ask. Hope this video gave you a little bit of an insight into why and how I did it, and if rapid fat loss is the thing for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Much love.